Don't give up on altcoins. I'm going to show you an amazing chart of the Hex chart. And the power is going to all come in the final 2 months. This is the Hex chart, friends. You can see here's Ricardo Corazon. Now, if you bought Hex on the Bitcoin halving close of the month and you held the whole way except for the last 2 months, the final 60 days, you're up 28x. Okay, so I'm just going to show you, friends, the power of this. The final 2 months, though, give an extra 4x. So you get 28x from here, but if you hold to the final 2 months, you get 112. 112. So you can just simplify it, go from 25x to 100x. It just came in the final 60 days. So that's why I'm telling you, even though it's been very racist for us, friends. The racism that's been happening on altcoins has been extreme. You have others BTC this low. Like we've never, ever started post-Bitcoin halving year this bad. Ever. It's always been green. See green? See the green box? Green. They just start shooting up. This one was green as well. Wasn't printed yet. Like we were meant to be killing it already. It's meant to just be like that. But it hasn't. Okay. But don't give up. Because it is very possible that when these things reverse at the very, very end, friends, your final 2 months of the altcoins, you see, because the beach ball has been pushed under the water for so long, once it finally does come up, we might get that white swan. I really do think we get a white swan of some sorts. At the very, very end, where it's like it's meant to be over, and then something gets released that just extends it. Like one last gasp. Okay? Now, it might not feel like a gasp. It might feel like everything's just getting started. But that's what it might be, right? Some sort of like fast move. Now, I don't know what the white swan's going to be. Remember, I'll say the word white swan, but it has to be something where, look, this is the thing. Remember, the white swan is the time to sell. Just like the black swan was a time to buy. Because the black swan was, in zombie virus times, we saw that in Bitcoin here. If we go back down to 2020, here's zombie virus. Look at the big black swan. Okay, you want to talk about a black swan? You got it right here, Habib. That's a black swan. You're like, whoa, bang. That's the time to buy, right? Okay, well, the white swan, now you're not going to get a move that's, as huge in Bitcoin, I guess, in the final month like that. So it might just be news that just sends altcoins into overdrive. But remember, when the black swan happens, friends, people thought it's over. This is the beginning of the bear market, the real beginning of the bear market, or like now, or like it's extended everything. That's what actually, just to remind you, because it's going to be very, very interesting if we reverse it. When this was down here, okay, when we were down there, people believed, okay, bear market is now extended and we're going to be like this for another year. Good luck. You have plenty of time to get in, okay? So I think when the white swan happens, okay, I hope we get it. When it happens, Bitcoin going up, don't know what's going to be. When it happens, people will say, don't worry, you've got a whole year to sell. It's okay. You got plenty of time to sell. We're actually going to feel like that. Okay. And if you're taking the other side, you look really, really bad. Because look, friends, I remember like at the bottom of the zombie virus crash, you didn't look good at all, saying, don't worry, this is a generational buying opportunity. No, no one believed you. It still took like 90 days for like things to like basically kind of figure themselves out. That's a long time, man. A long time. So that's why I've shown you the power of this, right? With Hex, friends, a good example, the final 4x came at the very end. Now, obviously, Hex was the first cycle unicorn. So in other coins, it's not a final 4x. It's like a final 50%. I'll be honest, that's what a lot of the coins are. So they're up like 8x up until that point, and the final 2 months, they do another 50%. But I'm just giving you an example so you can see. That's why we're looking for deep value contrarian, and we have big lollipops. Because if you're looking for deep value contrarian, you get the higher odds that you get the 25 to 100x move rather than more like an 8 to 12x move, okay? All it took, right, just those extra 2 green candles at the end. And that's why this crypto bull market has not properly started. Alt season not started. We could be at the foot of alt season wave 1 now. We might find there are 2 final green months at the end. So it goes to where we're meant to go, and then there actually is an extension where everyone thinks, oh, well, this is just the beginning of the end. So we might actually find that. Now, as you know, friends, this is a very, very cute Peppy with a cute Pika hat on. But macro has been going right for us. It's actually going right. So right now, obviously, if you look at the mainstream media, because they don't watch charts, man, they're not like, who cares about the news, bro? Like, we're trading the prices. The prices are everything, okay? They get baked in, okay? The trends are US dollars dropping, US oil's dropping, inflation down, and bond yields are actually dropping, the long end. I think the bond, so that means the bond price is going up, which is good. Because the market's expecting less inflation going forward. It's expecting a slowdown. That's why they buy the bonds, okay? So that's actually all is happening. But what if you go look at the media, they go, oh, Trump's unhinged and Zelensky and what's going on? Oh, Putin and KGB and all these things. All a bunch of baloney. It literally is just a bunch of baloney because people don't get the look at if you're charting your prices of the things you need to be looking at. If you're actually trading, you'd be completely aware of it. But then it's a catch-22 because you don't want to be looking at it every day because then you fry yourself and then you get too much fear. So I guess it is like it's a rational response from humans, from all of us, humans and squirrels and pups and ducks, because well they shouldn't be watching the price every day, but then they watch the news. So hopefully you're long-term invested, you just enjoy the entertainment from the news and just realize it is entertainment. That's the best perspective to have. But don't act on your portfolio. That's another thing. Can you trust people not to do that? No, you can't. So they'll go, oh, Trump with the tariffs. I don't like it. Doesn't feel good. I'm just going to get out, you know? So that's why investing, friends, a lot of people make the wrong decisions by default just because of how it's programmed. But we don't even have a baseline of financial IQ 100. We've got a baseline of like 70. Like by default, everything we're doing is like to get cucked financially. Whereas it's different in survival instinct with IQ. Like, friends, we've got like, you know, a bit of precognition stuff. You can read people by default. A lot of people, you know, a lot of us, you can read people by default. Go, this person's not trustworthy. I've got some fear. They stole money from me before. I'm not going to trust them again. You have these, but in markets, we don't have that. Our financial IQ, like we're literally retardios. Okay, we're literally retardios. You got to learn that. Like no one in life comes out and teaches you. Like, friends, when you go up to close to a flame, you're like, oh, your body can feel it's hot. Stay away. Yeah. You don't have that response in anything in markets. It's literally the other way. Instead, like when it's meant to feel hot, it's like it's an ice cream. You know, that's what it feels like. Oh, it's an ice cream and it's yummy. So that's why markets and cycles ain't going away. That's why I really do believe at the end we're just gonna get some blown off euphoria again. Hex is pumping because Uniswap just unbanned it, and PulseChain is about to get listed on a big exchange soon. This is in the new one of the newspapers out here. So, yes, friends, that when it comes to PulseChain and Hex, remember, Matcha have unbanned Hex. So it's unbanned off Uniswap, unbanned off Matcha, which is beautiful. But we already know, right, the news is great, but we know the big cyclical force is Ethereum, okay? The force keeping Ethereum down is also keeping us down. Here's Bitcoin dominance still hanging around these highs. I can ask you 1,000 times, why are you up, bro? If there's any alt season, you're meant to be down to the floor. You should be way down. It's not funny. Like you shouldn't be up here. But can I tell you, 4 years ago, I had the exact same feeling. When we had QE, friends, when when this happened, this killed me pretty much. This killed me mentally. You want to know why? Because QE and 0% rates and DeFi Ponzi farms and Ethereum and all this other stuff, that had nothing to do with Bitcoin. People are hunting yield. There's no yield on Bitcoin. What the hell is this happening for? And I remember this was really painful. This was just a scam by the market. The market scams you all the time. It's manipulate. This is pure manipulation, whatever it is. Manipulation, scamming is just whatever word you want to make it. You can make. I look for words to try like basically satisfy myself, my human need, because I want to get angry at someone or something. But it is what it is, man. I feel like we are right now. We're looking at this like, bro, what the hell are you doing here? Do you understand the people coming in here? They literally are here they're bridging the DeFi, doing all this random stuff. So we could be witnessing that right now. Also, the same influencers calling for 60% Bitcoin dominance. Now that's here, they're like, no, now we're going to go to 66%. And then you realize, bro, you're never going to change your mind anyway. You know what I mean? Like, okay, just take one position, just say that forever. You're like Peter Schiff now. That's what reminds me of. These influencers calling, you're literally just Peter Schiff on just one thing. Peter Schiff, as he says, Bitcoin's going to crash. He says that every single day, every time there's a red monthly candle. See, I told you it was going to crash. Yeah, so we'll see how it all plays out at the end, okay? I'll be you'll be giving me the trophy emoji. You'll see. Now, I've got more alien videos coming out for you later on, friends. Aliens, UFOs, paranormal experience, other entities. I love that stuff. Jon McMoneagle got interviewed by Jesse Michaels, and this is wild, man. He's got photos of bones on Mars. Look at it. This is bones on Mars. Now, someone made a comment. It's funny because the first thing he said is, "Oh, they're bones in Nevada. They took some bones in Nevada." This is, okay, that's a photo from the JPL, which is the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, robotic space, federally funded by NASA. So this is the interesting part of how it works. Very interesting, very strange. They don't hide anything, but they don't explain anything to you. So he has the negative photos, right? When they first took it, he got the negative photos. He's got them. He says you can actually go request them and get them. You can go get that photo. But he goes, you have to know exactly what to ask for. Strange. That's the government, man. That's how the government works. The government is NASA, and NASA's evil, by the way. That's how it works. So they don't hide anything. They say, oh, you never asked about that. You need to request the file, please, sir. So they have files, no descriptions. But maybe the file name is A1352666, this random code, like of the 26 letter strings. And then they might, you ask them, hey, do you have photos of aliens and bones? And look it up. No, nothing comes up on the database, sir. You know what I mean? Like, I can't help you. But then you go, okay, do you have the photo for A26B333 taken in 1971, code whatever? And if there's one digit off, they go, oh, we don't have that code. But if you get it perfectly, they give you the photo. And then he says, if you ask them about it, they don't give you an explanation. Of course they don't. Now, obviously, Jon McMoneagle, friends, he is the Coconut Intelligence Agency. He was their #1 spy. So he's got very good precognition. And he went on a Japanese show, I think in the 90s, or early 2000s, and they had 10 school kids in different locations. And it's very interesting, right? They had 70 stars, different shaped, colored stars in an envelope. And in another envelope, they had just one of them. And he trained, he did it live, it's on TV. There's actually the clip out here. You've got to get it. He trained in 10 minutes the Japanese school kids, 10-year-old Japanese school kids, how to do the precognition and to figure out what is in that envelope. And they got it right. And the envelope was in, I think, in another Japanese city. And they had the envelope. It wasn't even in the studio. And then he said, he goes, when it happened live, basically it happened live in the studio, everyone in the audience, they got out their handkerchiefs. They were crying. They couldn't believe what they just saw. Because then they realized. So this is Jon McMoneagle, friends. Remember Jon? I made my whole video about him. Like, man, you gotta watch some sick stuff happen to this dude. Right here, Jon McMoneagle, remote viewing, crypto, and our sixth sense. This is one dude. So yeah, he went to Vietnam. So friends, he's had some strange, not strange things. He had this precognition. We can actually test for it. There's a lot of science behind it. Actually, is science out. It's just the scientists like Neil deGrasse Tyson don't believe in it. Yeah, because they're cucks. They're cucks. But there is a lot of science on it. Something interesting even in a video. I have to make a full video about this. He even speaks about how they tested that, like, if you are standing and looking at the sun and the sun's rising, you basically, I think you can't get any precognition. I think either you can't or no one can precognite you. No one can see where you are. Maybe it's that. Maybe it's the other way. But it's just interesting. Just random things that they found out. So if you're looking at the sun, yes. He also mentioned where you are on Earth matters as well. Very, very, very interesting things that they have all these. Now, obviously, the US government not going to tell everyone out there because this is the thing, friends. They used him. There was Russia in the Cold War built this super massive, never before done underground submarine that could launch nukes. This big, pretty much, it did like 50 kiloton nukes. And he drew it, but he didn't know what he was drawing. And then when he went and told basically the higher generals, they said, this thing you've drawn is BS. He works for them. They go, it can't exist because these guys are able to, they're making a submarine. It's not even in the water. They're putting it in like a plane. That's impossible to do this. And he said the way that submarine's made, they're bending the pipes or something to get in. You can't make a sub. This is like, in the 80s or something. And then in this part, he had the date that they were going to launch the submarine and put it in the water. And he said it's in 112 days from now. And so on day 115, the US government went and they checked that area. They saw the big submarine. So there are a lot of things out here. So very, very interesting. Now, when you have these, I think he even gets asked in interviews. It's kind of funny. I love all this stuff. And he gets asked in an interview, can you just go remote view on people and just go check out, like, check what I'm doing, what underwear do I'm not wearing any underwear right now. But, do I have my socks on or not? He says he can't. He goes, because his ego gets in the way. He goes, all of this is you're a satellite and you can't really point yourself like that. Other people have to. And I'm like, okay, well, someone else has to ask me about, get someone else to ask. But there must be a reason why they can't do it 100%. Now, their win rate's not 100%. Of course it's not. I think he's off the charts. He had like 10 to 20%, I think, or 25%. Which you got to imagine, that's huge. You got to think about this. There's trillions of combinations of where someone can be on Earth or what something looks like, and he has like a 1 in 10 hit rate of able to do it. And he has like 600 missing persons found. Like it's insane what he's done. So he's actually a national treasure. He has those bones on Mars. So yeah, if you're wondering why the bones on Mars, actually I'll show you this. Jon McMoneagle, Mars remote view. So NASA, one of the higher generals, they gave him an envelope. He didn't know what was in it. And he remote viewed. And he drew, he wrote some stuff out here. He could see, he goes, there's a big pyramid here. There's a big pyramid. There used to be humans. He goes, they're us, but they're twice as tall. He goes, these humans are twice as tall. This is a pyramid, but it's giant, like it's a super massive pyramid. And he says, he's getting these messages. He goes, they're not there anymore. They used to be there. Some cataclysmic thing, whatever, cataclysm happened. They're not there anymore. They had to go somewhere. And then after that, he saw what was in the envelope, and it was Mars 1 million years ago. Mars. And it was a picture of Mars. So they found, obviously, what he explained is, so I never knew this part, but he explains in this interview. He explains NASA have scrubbed like every inch of Mars. They can say, oh, the city used to be here, pyramid used to be here. It's all, obviously, they keep it to themselves. So when they got him to look at one thing, they go, oh, we have this like pyramid up here. Let's just give this dude what he finds out for it. He was able to find that information out here. But then obviously they never say anything after that point. So that's where it comes from. And then there's no follow-up out here. There's no questions. Because they don't tell you anything in the government or the army. Like, because you don't have a need to know. It's just, you're the person being used. There's all these things that appear out here as well. Remember this face thing, because you don't know, friends. There's a lot of discussions as well. Are we just seeing clouds? The clouds. You see an elephant in the cloud. No, it's just the paraphernalia, whatever it's called. But yeah, it is very, very interesting to think about this stuff. Also, scrolling down here, friends, we have the Grey 369. Sommi, your love for UFOs and aliens is obvious. Please take a look at PTGC and UFO and where they are right now. The dip you've been waiting for is due to the discounts on RH tokens. It makes sense. Part of the alien technology. Yes, so I love PTGC. I love UFO. I love the alien ecosystem. I have nothing but love for them. Love them. Amazing. Went up only and everything. Just with me. This is just me. Just me. When I buy anything, I like to look at how long it's been running green for. How long it's been green on a weekly super trend. And this is 190 days. Yeah, so that's 6 month mark. Now, doesn't mean it's over. It does not mean it's over. It's just me. Because I've seen all the numbers. Okay, so like I've seen all the numbers of everything 180 days is like, it's a long time for it, for a lot of stuff. It is. Now, remember, I'll show you on Sol, great example, right? On Sol BTC, this is why, look at this, Sol went up, look where 180 days was. It's now last year, April. That's why I was warning, I go, be careful of being turbo long soy. And I copped so much shit for it. But I'm like, because I've seen the numbers, friends. I've seen the numbers, like a lot of things, like after the 6-month mark, it's like you have to become even rarer of a unicorn to keep doing that in 6 months, okay? But here's the thing, look, soy only flipped it. Look at this. So it's interesting, yeah? So after this point, man, it still runs another 29 days. So here we are, like day 180, but then it actually goes all the way. It doesn't flip red until day 490. So look, but here's the thing. In this period of time, okay, it didn't go up, but eventually just goes sideways and down. That's why, like, remember, I'm not just talking about one coin, because I looked at all of them. I looked at heaps and heaps and heaps and heaps, and I could see the time period before there's a big reset out here. Now, it does not mean anything stops. That's just with me. That's the way I'm doing it. Look, and you know, there are traders out here. Remember, I'm looking at a weekly. If there are a lot of people, you want to go on a daily, you can punt this. Look, this is a daily. See, it's flipped red on the daily super trend. You could, if you want, you just keep DCA buying, and then once it flips green again, you see how far it goes. That's another thing out here. You see what this is what happened twice before. If you actually look at it, okay, well, on the way up, had wave 1, it flips red. That was actually the buy. It goes up again. Look at this. It flips red. Okay, yeah, it only drops 20%, but then it's actually the buy again. So that's smaller time frames if you want to do that here. So yeah, I want to explain to you guys. That's why, because I saw the numbers. I saw the numbers. I'm like, oh wow, we really. So like, if you have fresh capital, more than welcome to do that. It's just with me when I'm looking at other stuff, I'm like, well, there's a lot of things that are never hit green in the first place, or they only hit green for like 30 days. They basically never got a big momentum push up. But yeah, each to their own. Everyone can do their own same way. Remember, I love PTGC. It's great. Did enormous things for PulseChain ecosystem, showing everyone what's possible. Hit like 300 million market cap. It's at 180 now. If you still believe in it, yeah, go for it. But yeah, ultimately, fans, what I've found as well is when it comes to these, instead of trying to pick, oh, something's about to move, something's about to end, instead of trying to do that, I just have an approach of like, usually just like, you know what, let it all go and just see what happens at the end. That's my approach to that stuff as well. So like, yeah, there's no cause concern for anything out here, but yeah, that pretty much explains it. But yeah, also actually, I have to show you as well, friends, on what I just showed you, I showed you it ran 180 days on the USD chart. This is on the Pulse chart. Now, this is why this thing has literally gone up only, right? Look at this. It has been green on the weekly super trend since January 2024. So you see what I mean, friends? I was talking to you about after 180 days, see how it's like, it's pretty much after a lot of things up around the 180 day mark, you're like, okay, just be careful. But look, it ends up going again up today. It's still green after 406 days. Okay, but off this point, man, it ran up another 33x. So I'm glad I just showed you this, right? Because like, just a good example of like, if you just have your whole portfolio, man, like imagine you think something's done and then it ends up running again. This thing ran an extra 33x. But then, you know, what if you have to deal with as well? People always throw at you, oh, I didn't take profit. Why didn't you? So it is tough. But that's another reason. Just give you insight why. Like this thing is on day 406 now. Day 406 of still green. So like, yeah. So you're free to play any of these how you want. Maybe you just decide. Maybe you don't even care about the pulse ratio. Maybe just like, you know, you're just going to keep dip buying and play for pulse to go up in the future. But I just wanted to share with you some insights into everything when you're looking at these charts out here, because crypto, right, we're really cyclical on emotions and everything out here and things moving around. But hopefully PulseChain lifts everything up, PLS, you know, because you never know, man. Like this might be PulseChain, the token listing might be the white swan effect for PTGC again. You never know. As PTGC gets listed, so as Pulse gets listed, maybe on a Kraken or Coinbase or Binance or something, and helps boost everything up out here. So ultimately, you have to make that decision, friends. That there is no right formula, because I've just showed you. Okay, hit day 180, you think it's over. It just did another 33x. You know what I mean? But then many other coins that hit day 180, you're meant to be getting out. So that's why I just have a Zen approach where I'm like, you know what? Just wait to the end and see where everything is. There'll be some coins you thought it had topped out, and they did top out earlier. They did. But then it'll be balanced with coins where you thought they were topped out, but you just didn't decide to get everything out, and they stop, and they just go do the nuclear run again. It does like another 5x and just shocks everyone by the end. But you only know those numbers until the very, very end of the cycle. So God bless everyone. Like, subscribe. Catch you soon.